Om Sang Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Namaste, everyone. We left off in our last session, and Ram had just asked Bibhishan, he asked discrimination. Consciousness said to discrimination, how do we cross the ocean of worldliness? And discrimination said, ask the ocean. If you can think of the ocean of objects and relationships, this whole sansar, this whole world of Maya, as one divinity that we can ask, how do we become free from your Maya? Certainly he's going to afford us passage. He's going to give us the clue. Ask from the sansar, ask from the ocean of worldliness. And so Ram said, I think that's a great idea. And we're at the 50th Doha. Doha number 50. And please, everybody, let's recite together. Saka kaki tumini ki upahi Korea deva jong hoi sahahi Mantra naya Lakshman manabhava Rama bachana suni ati dukkha pava Nata deva kura kavana bharosa Soshiya sindhu Korea manarosha Dhadara malakaku eka adara Deva deva alsi pukara Sunata biyasi bole Rakubira Esekin Kabarabagara Kumanatira Askaki Prabhu Anujaki Samujai Sindhu Samnipa Gakera Gurai Pratama Pranam Kini Sirunai Boite Puni Tata Dava Dashai Jabakin Bibhishan Prabhu Paki Ai Pache Ravana Dutta Patai Sakala Charita Tina Deke During Kapata Kapidea, Prabhu Guna Ridayan Saraka King, Saranagata Paranaya Siya Bora Ramachandra Ki Jai, Pavana Sutta Karupana Ki Jai, Umapati Mahavdeva Ki Jai. Prakat Pakani Rama Subhanu Ati Suprema Kasara Riduratu Rivu Teduta Kapina Tabajane Sakala Pandi Kapisa Pakingane Kahasagriva Sunakusa Papana Angapanga Kori Patabakanisita Sunisagriva Pachankapi Dai Bande Kataka Kakupasa Pirai Prabhu Prakar Maran Kapilage, Din Pukarata Tadapinda Tyage, Jo Hamara Harana Sakana, Teko Sal Dishke Adam, and Suni Lachamana Sabanikat Pulaye, Doyala Diam Situra Chorai, Ravana Kora Dijakuya Tapati, Lakshman Pachana Pachu Kulakati, Kaheku Mukaga Ramurat Sanam. Mama Sandesa Kuda Sita Dedi Milakunatam Abha Kalutuma Siyabora Ramachandra Ki Jai Pavana Sutta Kanuman Ki Jai Umapati Mahadeva Ki Jai Turatanaila Tamana Padamata Chale Gupta Paranata Guna Nagata Kaharama Gasudanka Aye Ravana Charana Sisadhina Nae Bahasa Jasana Puji Pata Kahasina Sukha Apaniku Salata Punika Kukabari Bibhisha Nakeri Chatim Ritu Agi Gatinere Karataraj Lanka Tatyagi, Oija Bakarakita Abagi, Punika Kubalu Kisa Katakai, Katina Kaprerita Chaliai, Jina Kejiva Nakarakawara, Bayumridula Tita Sindu Bichara, Kakutapasina Ke Pat Pahori, Jina Keridayam Trasakatimori,
ki bhai beti ki piri gaye, Ravana sujasu suni more, kahasina ripudula tejapala, bahut chakip chittator, siyavara, Ramachandra ki jai, Pavana sutta karumana ki jai, Umapati Mahadeva ki jai. Nath kripa kori puche tu jaise mana kukaha krodha tati jaise mila jagi jaba anut tumhara jatui rama tilaka teki sara Ravana duta miki sunikana kapina pandidin e dukanana Sravana nasika kate lage Rama shapata din e hamatyage puchi udnata Rama katakahi Padana koti sata paranina jahi Nana parana paluka pidari Bikata nana visala vayakari Jeki pura jehu hektehu suta tora Sakala kapina makantoi ateki bolu tora Amita nambata katin karala Amita naga bala bipula pisala Vibida mayanda nila nala Angaga gada bikatasi Davi mukha keari nishakta shata Jama banta palarasi siyavara Ramachandra ki jai Pavana sutta karupana ki jai Umapati Mahadeva ki jai Ekapisa sugriva samana Inasama kotina kana ikonana Rama kripa matulita balatina king Trina samanya triloka kiganaking Asmin sunas Ravana dasakandar Padma pitara bhutata papanda Natkataka bakram soka pinating Jonatum hijite ranamating Parmakrod minja kinsa bakata Ayasupe nadeki ragunata Sosaking sindhu sagita jasapyala Puraking natabari kudar bisala Madhikada milapakinda sasisa Esaki bachanaka kinta bekesa Karja kinta chakinta kaja asanka Manakugrasana chakrata hakilanka Sahaja suras kapi balusab Punisira para Prabhu Rama Ravana kala koti kokum Jiti sakaking sangram Siyavara Ramachandra ki jai Pavana sutta karupana ki jai Umapati Mahadeva ki jai. Let's return to the 50th Doha and translate for a few minutes. So Vibhishan discrimination said to Ram, to consciousness, he said, look, the ocean is an older relative in your family. He will think over the matter and suggest a way. And then this entire army of bears and monkeys will be able to cross the ocean without tremendous exertion. And consciousness said, friend, you have made an excellent suggestion of a way to our success. If fate will help us, we will certainly be successful. This idea was not pleasing to Brother Determination, and he felt extreme pain upon hearing the words of consciousness. So Lakshman thought that Ram Nahimbana Naragupala Bhuvaneshwara Sakalakatigala Brahma Anamaya Ajabhagavanti. Ram is the supreme divinity made manifest on this earth. Why should he ask from the ocean of samsara, the ocean of objects and relationships, can you help me cross the ocean? He could just order him. And Lakshman said, with my determination alone, I'm going to cross. And Ram said, "Oh Lord, who has faith in fate? Why not get angry and dry up the ocean? Only cowards depend upon fate, and the lazy continually call fate, fate." He says that's a lazy man's excuse for the rich man's success.
If you're lazy, you say, oh, it's in the stars, it's in the faith, it's in the attitudes. Who has faith? If you have a determination, then you just cross over. Order the ocean. Hearing these words, the hero of light laughed and said, be patient, we will act accordingly. So even the Supreme Lord says, wait a minute. We have to have respect for the gods. We have to have faith. We have to depend on all the gods working in harmony together so that we can accomplish our objective. Just because we're strong and we're mighty does not mean we can abuse or misuse our power. We still have the obligation to demonstrate to all of history and all of humanity and all of life that it is appropriate to demonstrate respect and to see how we can enlist and enroll everyone into a common agenda rather than demanding and proclaiming. And hearing these words, the hero of light laughed and said, be patient, we will act accordingly. Saying this, to explain to his younger brother, the Lord went to the shore of the ocean. And first he bowed his head in respect, and then he sat down on a seat of kush grass by the shore. When discrimination came to be with the Lord, then ego sent spies to observe what was taking place. The spies, fraudulently wearing the body of a monkey, the spies witnessed the entire drama. In their hearts they stored the qualities of the Lord and his love for someone who had taken refuge with him. Praising with great love the actions of consciousness, they forgot to maintain their monkey disguises. Then the monkeys knew that there were spies. They were spies for the enemy, and taking them prisoner, brought them to the excellent friend, Sugriv, the king of the monkeys. Excellent friend gave the order, monkeys, listen. Breaking their limbs, return them to their king. Hearing the orders from their king, the monkeys surrounded the captured spies on all sides. The monkeys began to beat them mercilessly, and they began to piteously cry in pain, yet the monkeys did not stop. Then the prisoners cried out, whoever would cut our noses and ears, we request the Lord of the nation of welfare not to allow it. So they're praying to Ram, please save us. And hearing this, Brother Determination called everyone to come to him. Offering great compassion, he laughed and then immediately had the captives released and said, deliver this message to Ego and tell that traitor to his family the words of Brother Determination. Tell that fool this beneficial message. Return nature to her union with consciousness, or the time of your death has arrived. So when Bibhishan left the kingdom of the ego and he came out from Lanka and he went and joined Ram, and Ram crowned him the next king of the kingdom of ego and held him in great respect and high regard, then the spies that Ravana had sent to see what was going on were just amazed that Ram treated his enemy with so much respect, that Ram treated the ocean with so much respect, that Ram treated everybody, even though he's the Lord of the three worlds, he treated everybody with so much respect. And the spies were so amazed to see an enemy with so much grace coming to attack them that they forgot to maintain their disguises. They were so enraptured by watching the drama of Ram that they gave up their disguises, and the other monkeys immediately recognized them. They captured them, brought them to their king. They were beaten mercilessly, and then they cried out, please, Ram,
Save us. And Lakshman heard them and said, hey, you guys, you can spy all you want because we don't have any secrets here. The only secret that we have is that Ram is living in our hearts. God is with us. If you want to see that secret, come and open up your heart and you'll see that God is inside. It's the secret that everyone should know. So now we're releasing you. Go back as our ambassadors to your king and tell your king a very, very beneficial message. You can be our ambassador. Give up Sita, return her to Ram, and you all live and dwell in prosperity and happiness. Or you'll die. It's your choice. It's a very simple decision, Mr. King of the Ego. As you choose. Bowing to the feet of brother Determination, the spies immediately departed, praising the qualities of the Lord. He just made 2 new devotees. Instead of injuring them, he made new devotees. And Ravan's chief of espionage had just become a devotee of Ram. Let's see how many other people defect before the battle is over. Speaking of the fame of consciousness, they returned to the kingdom of the ego and bowed their heads at the feet of the ego. The one with 10 heads laughed and asked, "Oh, talkative one, you are not well?" That was the name of one of his spies. He was the talkative one. Then tell me about discrimination, who just barely escaped from death. What a fool to leave the kingdom of ego. Now that unfortunate one will be crushed like a weevil among grains of barley flour. So the ego has a little bit of egotism there. And what is the condition of that army of bears and monkeys who have come here at the inspiration of their hard times? Their only protection is this ocean with its tender consciousness, or else the demon warriors would have slain them all by now. So here they are, the army of monkeys and bears at the other shore are only being protected by the ocean, because otherwise my armies would have crushed them and defeated them a long time ago. And what of those ascetics, that Ram and Lakshman, whose hearts are filled with the greatest fear of me? Naturally, everyone is afraid of me. I am the ego, and no one does anything without saying, I am the doer. They all bow to me through every action they perform. Were you able to meet with them, or did they run away, hearing of my fame? Why don't you speak of the enemy's strength and courage? Your consciousness appears to be totally numb. Hey, talkative one, talk to me. You're my spy. Well, what happened? Was Bibhishan, my brother, that traitor to his family, was he crushed like a weevil? Now here's the reply from the spies. O Lord, just as you have graciously asked, please cast aside your anger and believe my words. When your younger brother arrived in the presence of consciousness, then he was given the blessing of the kingdom. Made him the king. Hearing that we were spies for the ego, the monkeys captured us and gave us various kinds of pain. Even they were about to cut off our noses and our ears. After requesting them in the name of consciousness, then they set us free. Lord, you have asked about the army of consciousness. Uncountable numbers of mouths cannot begin to count or describe their prowess. They are a formidable army of bears and monkeys with huge bodies, extremely fearful.
The one who burned the city and killed your son, among the monkeys, his strength is not the greatest. There are innumerable names among their warriors who are extremely strong and fearful. They have the strength of innumerable elephants, and they are gigantic in size. Who splits into two, who is strong as a horse, who is like a blue flame, the son of fire, who shines like a star, the son of Vishvakarma, the architect and engineer of the gods, who subordinates himself, who holds a mace, who is unusually large, the milk-faced, whose skin is soft and clear, who has the mane of a lion, most excellent, respected brother of all. They are all repositories of strength. I mean, these are just the names of some of the generals in their army. And they're all real formidable opponents. This is not a wimpy army that you're going to blow and they're going to run away from fear of the ego. Mr. Ego, our king, be prepared for a significant battle. So here he says, the spy says, Bibhishan, your brother, wasn't crushed like a weevil when he got there. He was treated like a king. And he was anointed as the next king of the kingdom of the ego. Ram has no desire to rule the kingdom of the ego. He said, discrimination. You rule the kingdom of the ego. And anyone who does anything will ask, discrimination, is this appropriate? Rather than have the ego proclaim, I don't need discrimination, get out of my kingdom. I only want people in my kingdom who listen to me. And even the monkey armies, when they caught us and recognized us as spies for the ego, they ultimately treated us with the greatest of compassion and courtesy. And they set us free. And they sent us back to tell you and all the other warriors that if you want to live, give Sita back to Ram. And if in the strength of your egotism you think you're going to defeat the Supreme Lord of the three worlds, then your death is at hand. So their armies are strong, they have strong generals. All of these monkeys are equal to excellent friend to the king of the monkeys, Sugriv. And not just one or two, but millions. Who can dare to count them? By the grace of consciousness, they have incomparable strength. Before them, the three worlds is like a blade of grass. Oh, one with 10 heads, and I'm talking to you, ego. Oh, one with 10 heads. With my own ears, I have heard it said that only the commanders of the monkey army number 18,000 billion. Oh, Lord, in that army there is not one monkey that couldn't defeat you in battle. In great anger they are wringing their hands, but the Lord of Light has not yet given the order to attack. They say, we shall dry up the ocean with its fish and snakes, or if not, we shall throw huge mountains into the ocean to fill up our path. This ocean is nothing for us to cross. If the one who takes us all across the ocean of worldliness is our leader, the leader of light, how can a little body of water be an impediment in our path? And the one with 10 heads we shall throw to the ground, where he will mingle with the dust. In this way, all the monkeys are talking, roaring, and boasting of their desire to consume all of the kingdom of the ego. All of the bears and monkeys are naturally warriors, and at their head is the Lord of Consciousness. O ego, they can defeat millions of gods of death in battle. And I'm only telling you this because you asked. You just wanted to know about the strength of your opponent, and what is the nature of their army, and what is the status of your brother. And I gave you the report as fast as I could, only because I'm your servant, I work for you, and you asked me to tell you. Do we have any questions about what we've covered so far? Yes, please.
So maybe when you talk about asking the ocean, so if we say Maya is the goddess that we can ask how to release from her Maya.
Isn't that what we do when we read the Chandi Pat? We ask Maya in the embodiment of Chandi to please free us from her Maya. She is the energy in all. And if she chooses, she gives energy to the ego and to the generals in the army of the ego. And then the gods fall from their divinity because the ego is so strong. And if she chooses, because the sadhus pray to her with great intensity and sincere longing, if she chooses, she can take that energy away from the ego and give it to the gods and allow the pure qualities of divinity to be illuminated and send us back to heaven. So Ram is Bibhishan, discrimination is saying just the same thing. Ask the ocean of worldliness to free us from the worldliness. And it'll be easy for the ocean to show us a way to cross this ocean of objects and relationships. You asked the ocean, you said there's this myriad of possibilities in the ocean, even numbering greater than 18,000 billion. Innumerable possibilities to cross this ocean of objects and relationships, to focus on Maya. Now, how do I cross? And when you prayed sincerely, the Divine Mother gave you energy and took the energy away from the ego and gave it to the divinity within you and said, go to the Devi Mandir. Go to Napa, California, where Sri Ma is illuminating the greatest peace. In the same way, discrimination said to consciousness, go to the ocean of objects and relationships and ask, what is the best way for us to cross? And consciousness, being illuminated, says respect. I will offer respect to Maya. I have no hesitation to offer respect to Maya. Even though I'm the Lord of the universe and Maya is one servant to me, I respect the opinions of my servants. We work together. How do we accomplish this cohesive union? And working together and enrolling even the spies into our agenda. All the players of our team should work together. So Ram has no hesitation to demonstrate his respect and pray to Maya, to the ocean, to Sagar. Please tell us, how do we cross the ocean? And you're going to find that the ocean included with his answer to worship Lord Shiva and to worship the Divine Mother. And Ram established, first he performed Navaratri. He performed 9 nights of continuous worship, which we're going to do next week. And then he worshipped Lord Shiva with the Maharudri Yagya. And the place where Ram worshipped Shiva is called Rameshwar. And that is the famous temple consecrated to Shiva by Rama. The Shiva Lingam became a Jyoti Lingam, Rameshwara. And the gurus came and said to Ram, why are you calling this Rameshwaram? And Ram gave the reply, Ram ka Ishwar is Shiva. This is the Ishwara of Ram. And Shiva laughed and said, no, Ram is Ishwara to Shiva. So Rameshwaram, the Jyotirlingam, has two meanings. Both meanings are correct. Shiva is Ram's Ishwara, and Ram is Shiva's Ishwara. And God is worshiping God, and all the gods are one. So this is why we ask with respect. We pray to the ocean of samsara. How do we cross this ocean? How do we move across this ocean? Please, you give us the keys. You give us the keys according to our time, place, and circumstance. Today, we're chanting the Sundar Kanda. Last week, we were chanting the Bhagavad Gita. Every day, we're chanting the Chandipa, which is the tool that we will use according to our time, place, and circumstance. And it will vary from environment to environment, and from day to day, and from sankalpa to sankalpa. And that's why it's necessary for us to define the sankalpa, so that we can perform the appropriate worship on the appropriate time, place, and circumstance to get the results that we are seeking. Yes, please.
Swami, that brings a question that has been on the club recently about people feeling, because of their tradition where they were brought up in Christianity, for example, and now they've been learning Hindu mantras and chanting, say, Shiva Puja. And then the desire has come up from in their heart to worship Jesus or honor Mary. And there is some feeling that maybe this is a conflict, and folks would like to feel and get a clear understanding and feel in their hearts whether there is really a conflict or whether there isn't.
If Shiva's Ishwara is Ram, and Ram's Ishwara is Shiva, and you read the 1,000 names of Kali and you see the name of Lakshmi, and you read the 1,000 names of Lakshmi and you see the name of Saraswati, then ultimately we come to the understanding that there is Ekam Shad Vipra Bhakuta Bhavanti. There is one supreme divinity expressed in many forms. And once we have that understanding, then we are worshiping one God no matter how we worship. We have that verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Anything that anyone offers to any form of divinity that is coming to me, and the blessing comes from me. And Krishna will bless, and Jesus will bless any offering of respect to any form of divinity. There is no distinction. On Christmas Eve, not only do we perform a Latin Mass, but we perform a Sanskrit puja to Jesus. We're just worshiping God. We're not trying to form a religion. We're not trying to enroll anybody to change the title of your faith. We're trying to inspire reborn faith. Renewed faith with renewed vigor and an intensity of belief that makes us live according to our faith. So no, there is no conflict. If there is a conflict, you haven't understood the message. We worship the Creator, the Preserver, and the Transformer. We worship G, the Generator, O, the Organizer, and D, the Destroyer. The God. We worship God in every form. That's where we're trying to go. It's not about an ism. It's not about what you call yourself. It's not about what language we pray in. It's about that we pray and that we live according to our faith. So I appreciate you bringing up the confusion, but let's get rid of the confusion. It's not about the confusion. These are methods that people have used, and please, no one is more eclectic than the Devi Mandir family. We have deity, we have shrines for Krishna, for Ram, for Shiva, for Vishnu, for the Divine Mother, for so many forms of divinity in so many different religions. There is an altar to Buddha, and there is an altar to Jesus, and there is an altar to Mary, and we have said we just want to love God. Because in Tantra Sara, there's a beautiful definition for Hindu. It says, Hingsayam duyateyascha, who abhors violence in every form. Sada acharana tatvara, who strives for harmony and truth in every behavior. Ved go pratima sevi, who loves wisdom, who respects all teachers of wisdom, and who practices some form of meditation. Sa Hindu mukha shabdavak, such a one may be said to be a Hindu. This is an ism that I can subscribe to abhor violence in every form, especially within myself. All the conflict is violence. All the confusion is the collision of many different ideals. Now I've got one ideal of perfection, and that's my dharma, and that is to worship God in every circumstance of life. Hingsa is barjit. It's prohibited. All forms of violence. And I'm striving for truth and harmony in every action. All of my activities are designed to create a greater harmony, a greater union. I'm trying to come into union through everything I do. And I love wisdom. I respect the teachers and the expositors, the examples of wisdom in every tradition. And I practice my own form of one point of absorption in meditation, which I call Siddhantachara, puja, worship, pat, recitation of scriptures, homa, the sacred fire ceremony, sangeet, singing for God, nrit, dancing for God with a divine purpose, pravachan, describing what I'm doing and telling why I'm doing it, and arpanam, offering to others the best I can. Trying to give my best and take what I need and give the most, and that's called spiritual. Spiritual means giving more than we take. So that's my answer to your question. It's not about religion, it's about spirituality. We're trying to become spiritual beings who live our faith, not religious beings who join an ism and build a wall around ourselves to protect us from other isms. Our spirituality takes down all the walls and opens us up and allows us to unite with all. And I believe that is the goal of spirituality, to remove all the barriers. That's union. Are there other questions?
There's a question from Ruchi from Maryland.
Namaste, Ruchi Ma.
So, Ruchi says that she has heard all of those stories of asuras doing tapasya and asking for boons. I wonder, why did the tapasya not purify them? When they did darshan of the Lord, how come just that encounter did not light the light of goodness in them?
Ruchi, their motivation for doing tapasya was selfish. So they began their tapasya with a selfish intention. And all through their tapasya, they kept making jap of their selfish desire. So therefore, they didn't recognize that the purifying aspects of darshan.
When we sit in a meditation and we sit in our yajna and we have selfish desires and we're saying the mantras and thinking about our selfish desires, then we don't get the effects of purification as we would if we came into our yajna and said the mantras and said, God, please take away my selfishness. Please make me more pure.
A question from Nanda San Jose.
Namaste, Nandama.
Pranam Swamiji, can you please talk more on fear? Most of us have a fear of the unknown. How does a sadhak handle this fear of the unknown?
By learning. Knowledge is the only way to combat ignorance. When we don't know, we fear because we don't know. And once we start learning and cultivating a familiarity with that which we don't know, then we become sadhus, we become efficient, we face the fear, and we become familiar with the object which generates the fear, and then we become free from the fear. We unite with the object. So the only way to free ourselves from fear as sadhus is to start learning about the consequences of this relationship, of this association, of what is bringing me the fear. And most of the fears that we have are fears of losing my precious attachment. What will I be like? What will life be like for me if I don't have this attachment? I like things the way they are. They may not be perfect, but I want them to stay the way they are. Because what would happen if I lose this attachment? I'm filled with fear. I don't want to let go. Now our understanding as we cultivate familiarity with what the consequences of giving up that attachment would be, then we find that, hey, it may even put me in a better position if I gave up that attachment. I could even come closer to God. I would have more time to spend with my guru. I would have more time to sit in an asana. I could sing scriptures. Maybe it's not so bad that the attachment goes. Maybe I can risk the experiment. And thereafter the fear goes. The fear flees from the sadhu.
Ruchi says she's wondering about what is the origin of the ego, where it comes from, and what does it really want?
Ruchi, in the beginning, there was Sadashiva and Shakti. They were both one. But there are two names for describing the same phenomena, because Sadashiva is infinite consciousness and Shakti is infinite energy. The efficient and material causes for all of manifested existence. And the union between the two of them is called Ishwar. And that is Shiva Shakti. We often think of Ardhanarishwar. He's Ardhanar or Ardhanari. But he's Ardhanarishwar. The union between Shiva and Shakti. You've seen pictures of Shiva barely opening his eyes. And Shiva is saying, I think there's something outside. I can faintly see something different. And that's the fourth. It's called Shuddh Vidya. And then the fifth principle is called Maya. And he opens his eyes and he says, oh yes, there is definitely something outside, and it's different from what's inside. I am here, and all of that is out there. Now when Maya comes, there is ego. I am different.
And that's the origin of the ego. The first 5 tattvas in every system, Shiva tattva, Shakti tattva, Ishwar tattva, Shuddha Vidya, Maya. And when Maya comes, there is aham. Now, how does that aham become ahamkar? And manifested in egotism and attachment, and in self-conceit and self-deprecation. That's another part of the story. Are there other questions?
Question from Kumari from Valley.
Namaste, Kumari Ma.
Can Swamiji comment on fate? Is that the same as karma? Does fate affect spiritual Sita in any positive or negative way? Thank you.
Yes, Kumari Ma, fate is very much linked with karma. And we say that as we sow, so shall we reap. And that's our fate. So the law of karma is our fate. And there's also a way to change the fate. Because if we propitiate the gods, we fill ourselves with positive vibrations. We're putting out only positive energy. And now all the negativities fade away. They dissipate. All that negative energy. So fate is very much linked to where we started our journey and how we continue our journey. And we are continually making our fate. Through our actions, we make our fate.
Question from Michael from Colorado.
Namaste, Michael. Namaste, Karen.
Does the ocean in this text represent the field of all possibilities? Should we think of the ocean as a place where anything can manifest for the benefit of our sadhana?
Yes, Michael, that's very beautiful. And we remember in the Bhagavad Gita we had the field and the knower of the field, the kshetra and the kshetri. Now here we have in the same analogy the ocean of worldliness, all the possibilities of objects to unite with other objects and the relationships between those objects and other objects. And all of those relationships to me. So yes, this is a wonderful opportunity for us to jump across our own ocean and see where the crocodiles are lurking and where the snakes are waiting for us and all of the obstacles that are in our ocean. Where are they lurking that are going to keep us from crossing this ocean to conquer the kingdom of the ego and enshrine discrimination as the next king of the kingdom of ego? That's our goal. We will unite nature with consciousness, enthrone discrimination on the throne of the kingdom of the ego, and cross the ocean of worldliness. Get rid of all of our alligators and snakes. And all we need is a few monkeys and bears. And each of us is enacting this Sundar Kanda every day. Just as the Bhagavad Gita was the story of the battle within us. In the same way, this Sundar Kanda is beautiful because it is the perfect allegory for what we are facing in our life's situations every day. How do I respond to that?
We talked about how Hanuman could have brought Sita back.
Yes.
Lord Hanuman, Lord Shiva, but we are what can we do to prepare ourselves to be pure instruments in the hands of God?
I just got through today preparing a new presentation on just what you do. And it's called the 9 Steps of Devotion. And how do you do it? How do you cultivate that devotion? You'll find it on our website in the next few weeks, as soon as Srini gets up to putting it up there. But Actually, what we're doing right now is the first important step. We're getting rid of the fear. We're banishing the fear. We're studying what did the other saints do in order to accomplish their goal. First of all, what was their goal? And now how do we make our goals in alignment with their goals? And then what did they do in furtherance of that goal? And what can we do? We are studying that right now. And every evening we've been studying that same information. How do we ourselves cultivate that pure devotion and prepare ourselves to become instruments in the hands of God? And that's the issue with which we started the study of this work. And that's the issue that we're hoping to resolve through the study of this work. The very act of dedicating ourselves to spiritual knowledge and to study of Scripture and to the study of what did other realized beings do when they were in pursuit of realization gives us the knowledge, gives us the inspiration, gives us the information that we need to conform our own lives to that pattern of behavior. And then we practice it. First comes the inspiration, then comes the study, then comes the practice, then the refinement. And we practice it and we practice it until it becomes second nature to us. And it becomes the way of our lives. And someone comes to us and says, Guruji, how did you get to that position? How did you get to that consciousness? How did you get to that understanding? How did you make that way of life? And he says, sit down and study the Sundar Kanda. And that's the parampar from guru to disciple all around the world, all through the generations. It's the same battle that each of us is facing every day. Can we really become spiritual in this circumstance? Is this an opportunity for me to give more and take less? Where is my discrimination? Let me consult him. Is this an opportunity for me to take more and give less? How do I want to respond to these circumstances in life? Will I be enhanced if I cheat? Or will I actually be diminished? Will I get closer to my goal if I tell the truth? Or will I get farther away? Satyanarayan Bhagavan ki Jai! Yes.
Question from Lord from Mountain View.
Namaste, Rolf.
Can Swamiji please talk about the recitation of scripture from Devanagari versus the Roman transliteration? Should a beginner have to recite it from Devanagari, or is it better to become proficient in the transliteration first?
Rolf, it depends on how much time you have and what kind of association you have. Certainly it is much more beneficial to recite from the Devanagari because the Devanagari, each letter is a yantra. And within that yantra is a diagram of the vibrations of the letter itself and all that is communicated through those vibrations. So if we have the time, if we're in our 20s, and you're going to be studying Sanskrit for years and years. I mean, there's no one who knows Sanskrit except Shiva. To the extent that we learn it and cultivate that relationship and that familiarity with Sanskrit, so much closer do we come to Shiva because we speak in his language. So much closer we come to the Divine Mother because we can speak in her language. So there are 56 basic characters, 54 in some declinations. There's 50 at least in Panini's grammar. It just depends on which grammar you use. And we're trying to express the combination of those 56 characters through 26 letters in Roman. And then we put dots and dashes and we can never quite come to the exact mark, even through transliteration. So certainly it will be better if you have the time, and if you have the mind, and if you have the environment that supports your study of Devanagari. Certainly it's highly recommended. Otherwise, look how much we're deriving just from the study of the transliteration and the translation. Just those two. How beneficial it is becoming to our lives. So, as much as we can do, so much is the benefit.
Question from Edward from Seattle, Washington.
Namaste, Edward.
Living the life of a sadhu, what is the sign of perfection in realizing God?
Oh, Edward, that is such a broad question. There are so many signs. You will recognize yourself. I wouldn't be concerned about the signs that you will recognize in others. I would be concerned about what you see within yourself. The changes made in your goals, the changes made in your path, the changes made in your values, the changes made in your demeanor and your comportment, all will indicate to you that you're progressing along the spiritual path. Now, for us to apply that criteria to another, it's verily impossible to know what's going on in someone's inner mind, what's going on in their heart, what they're really feeling, whether there's any subterfuge. But there are certain indications that you can readily perceive from the outside if someone is actually practicing what they preach. First indication is look at their knees. Do they sit in an asana? Or do they sit with their knees up above? If they sit Indian style, you know that they're not practicing asana. Now, the path of yoga says yam, niyam, asana. Now, if they're sitting on a chair or in a throne or on a something or other, they're sitting on their butts. They're just talking about it. So you can tell, in order to do the pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi, they've got to cross a certain path. Again, look at their goals and their values in life. Yam, niyam. Yam means to take control, to define the purpose, define your values, define your goals, to make a sankalpa. Now, if they're wandering and they don't have a sankalpa and they're not giving more than they're taking, then they're not spiritual people. These are indications that you can say this is not. So there are certain indications. Niyam means I've got a discipline. And if I don't have a discipline, if somebody is not regular, if they're not doing their spiritual practice as a regular part of their daily routine, then you can definitely assume these are talkers and not doers. So there are certain indications of what it is not. But for us to know what it is, it takes a real inner perception. We can only know that for ourselves. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.